This module will focus on sentence context clues based on the second grade Common Core standard. Students will use context clues to figure out unknown words in sentences. This practice will aid in comprehension, especially as they encounter more complicated text. This lesson will use sentences from previously read mentor text with unknown words. The teacher will model using context clues to solve for meaning, and then through guided practice the students will select words for closed sentences. Finally, students will be released to solve their own sentence with the aid of a context clue anchor chart. This lesson will be based on a gradual release of responsibility model, with the teacher doing the I do it portion, teacher in small group, guided instruction, we do it, and finally the students working collaboratively for the you do it together. If your students are ready after teacher modeling and guided practice, you may move them to the independent stage. The length of this support lesson is 15 minutes, and this lesson assumes that your students will have the ability to read short sentences and be familiar with the mentor text use, so the concentration can be on the unknown word, not the entire sentence. Materials needed include familiar mentor text sentence excerpts, the context clues poster chart. An example is given here, but you may feel free to use your own and emphasize on it whatever you wish your students to use first. Dry erase or chart markers, depending on your surface, Post-its, an anchor chart for the extension activity, students to collect sentences on, and chart paper. You'll start the instructional sequence by showing several examples of sentences from previously read text that contain unknown words. Explain the importance of stopping to solve for meaning when we don't know a word. The teacher points out the word, highlights, and then models how to solve for meaning. Here are some text examples. I was so parched I drank a glass of water in one gulp. The aroma of food cooking made my mouth water. Tim is a novice soccer player. Today is his first day of practice. During the teacher modeling portion, the teacher writes sentence on chart paper and highlights an unknown word. The teacher then models how to use the context clues to solve for meaning, and make sure to reference the context clues chart so the students will realize that this is a good reference and a tool for them to use when working independently. After the teacher solves for meaning, read the sentence again to the students, and repeat this multiple times as necessary. Frequently refer to the context clues poster. Add sentences to the anchor chart as you collect them. And when students are ready, move on to the guided practice portion. During the active engagement guided practice, use closed sentences to practice with the group. If your students are ready, they can then try in partnerships. This example I have given here shows a first sentence, they blank across the street, in which many words could be placed in the blank and the sentence would make sense. However, the second example shows two sentences that are connected, which narrowly limits the word that can fill in the blank and still have it make sense. Mary dropped her tennis balls. They blank across the street. You'll then want to link before your students leave to do formative assessment and go back to reading workshop. As you read in your books today, I want you to look for sentences that contain an unknown word that you would like to share with our group. Mark this sentence with a post-it. Then we'll go on to the formative assessment. Give each student a simple sentence with a highlighted word. Have students solve and verbally tell you the meaning of the word based on the clues they found in the sentence. Additional modifications. Repeat this lesson using additional mentor text sentences. Extend the partnership time for students who are not ready to work alone. Have students collect and discuss interesting sentences with unknown words from their own reading. Repeat the lesson using additional closed sentences, or you may need to do additional context clue mini lessons or chunking mini lessons for larger unknown words. There are many additional resources, including in the MESA 2nd Grade Unit 1, Sessions 16 and 17. There is also a Context Clues website, digital word detectives, and a Kia available that are easily used and adapted for extension or extra practice. This lesson is based on the anchor standard. Use sentence level context as a clue to the meaning of a word or phrase.